So the basics are completed. IP address, turn off firewall is completed, and server is ready with the basic setup. So let me open MS Paint. So you have one server which is installed with an server name as Active Directory, IP address as 192.168.1.100, IP address, the DNS same. So why this is not working? So IP 192.168.1, sorry, 1.100 DNS, same IP will come 192.168.1.100. An operating system server 2019 OS, where we will install this. Now this is generally called a server. Okay, you need to install a role. Okay, we need to install one role. Okay, on this server, ADDS. So then the server is called as domain controller. Once you install a role of AD role, is nothing but ADDS plus a DNS role will install. Once you install the role AD, it automatically install AD and DNS roles automatically. So this server will call as a domain controller. Okay, and we will give it, while installing, we'll give a name called a domain name. Some I will give a name called a domain name. So I will give dot local. Why? Because if I give dot com, what happens? I need to purchase a website. If not, you will get a conflict. So I want to use locally. So I will give dot local. You can try also dot com. Sometimes what happens, if you're on internet, you will get conflicts. Try to use any name. You can give any name. Put dot local is important. Dot com also you will give, but you will face some issues. You locally creating, that will not impact anything. But when you create an when you enable internet, it will come some issues. Try to give as your domain name as any name dot local. Okay. So what I will do, my server is ready with the basic configuration and all. I will go to server now. Then I need to open the server manager. Open start menu. Open server manager here. Okay. Then your server window will be open. So let me hide it. Okay, fine. So here what you need to do, click on add roles and futures. Click on add roles and futures. Then next. Then next. You can see your IP address. Make sure you have AD and your correct IP address. Then next. Here you need to select Active Directory Domain Services role. What you are selecting? You need to select Active Directory Domain Services. Is it clear what I'm saying to you?
Yes, sir.
If you select this, you are not selecting DNS role. Am I right? You need to select only ADDS, Active Directory Domain Service. Is it selected automatically? Yes or no? Is it selected or not selected?
Not selected now.
Not selected.
Yes,
But
No,
when
not
you
yeah.
selected.
when you try to
Not
install,
open to them.
it will install this role also as a mandatory later in the installation phase. Is it clear? Because AD is mandatory because it's both are together. So you won't select here, but later after installing the role, it will automatically selected at the time of installation. We can observe later. So what are the roles which are selected now? ADDS, this service is already installed. Any other services are selected? No, right? Yes or no?
No.
So we need to select Active Directory Domain Services role from the server manager. Hit next. No futures are required. Simply hit next. See, group policy management is already installed. Next. So it's not required. The new future, it's not required now. Next. Here it is asking to install your Active Directory domain. So what you need to do, you need to click install. Now Active Directory domain services role is being installed. If you go to my computer properties, if you go to the my computer properties, what is the computer name? AD. What is the work group type here? Work group. Am I right or wrong?
Ye-
Once
Yes.
we install this role on the server, it will change to our domain name. If you install your
Yes.
praveen.local, praveen.local will come. If you install wipro.com, wipro.com will come. Any name, whatever you install, that name will be represent after a reboot of this role. Let's go to here. Okay. Let me close other things. It's installing this role still. Once it's installed, you will see the future installation is completed. So you need to wait some time, maybe a few minutes, 2 to 5 minutes of time. You need to wait so that now you able to see it here. So let me pause the recording for a. You see,
Okay,
configuration
sir.
is required. So you keep in mute if you're not speaking. Okay. So configuration is required, installation is required. So you need to click on this icon, promote this. If you forget, for example, you not clicked here, you close it. Okay. You need to click here. If you close it, unfortunately, you need to go here and type promote the server to a domain controller. Here it will ask you to create you're not creating a existing forest. You're creating a new server, no? You need to select add a new forest here. Okay. You need to click add a new forest, then click your domain name. What are the domain name you want, you can keep it. Is it clear? Then hit next. Is it clear? You need to select add a new forest, then give your domain name and hit next. Then see here it's saying specify domain controller. It's mandatory. Okay. It's mandatory, it's getting installed here. Okay. You cannot, if you want to install different servers, it's fine, but it will install also a mandatorily domain service capabilities. That's why it's already checked. So now that role will automatically install. So I want to do what I need to give. I need to give this password again. This is only to restore your AD server when you have an issues. This will not work. Okay, but you need to give the same password for time being. But the AD team will take care in production. But as a test lab, we need to give a password and hit next. Then DNS also is trying to install automatically. It's saying, okay, give an authorization to create some records. So click next. It choosing the NetBIOS name as we are given like a NetBIOS. It will choose resolve the particular name which we given to the domain Praveen. Next. All options are default. Only give Praveen.local next install. That's it. So server will get automatically. So your usernames which you create, your groups which you create, that will be stored in this folder. Is it clear? We create like 50 users or 100 users. That information will be stored under this location. Okay. Then next, check the settings. Whatever you selected, it will check pre-checks. Is it ready for installation or not? Once is everything is fine, then it will ask to install so that your server from a work group, you're the server in a work group model. Once you install this role, that will become a domain controller. Then your name will change automatically to the praveen.local as your domain name. Is it clear? So warnings can be ignored. Okay. Then says all pre-checks are successfully passed. Try to click install now. Once after installation, your network ncpa.cpl also you check what is the current IP address what we kept 192.168.1.100. Later it changed to default IP address. We need to change it. Okay. There we'll see later it. Let me close, close. Then come here, start the installation. At the time of installation, what happened? It will install all the components related to AD, means Active Directory users, group policy. Lot of security settings will enable on the server. Now you will have some local users and groups here, lusr mgr.msc. Once the server is installed, this local groups will not be there at all because this machine will be converted into the domain so that local administrator will not be there. Only that Active Directory component will be getting into the picture. So what are the, see, these under policies are designed by Microsoft. So the what are the things needs to be there? See, machine is policy is getting applied. It's, you can see what is in process. Security, securing Kerberos policies. D is configuring the DNS on the computer. Okay. Let's wait for 5 more minutes so that once installed, it's saying the domain services is installed. I'm trying to reboot the server. So within a minute, the server will get rebooted. So once it's restarted, you need to log in with your domain account. Praveen slash administrator is my administrator account. The password which we use it for same, the same password will be applied to the account. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So now AD one is normal server we have promoted into a domain controller, which is nothing but a Active Directory server. The domain name is praveen.local. Any company, they has to start with the first server as Active Directory because that is basic, because they has to give some authentications, security and all that can be provided only from the Active Directory server. Without AD, nothing will be possible. Before, earlier 10 years before, there is no AD and all, 10 to 20. So that the time they introduced, so the before only work group mode is there, then they introduced for the better security. The basics of AD, the AD team will take care of, but we don't need that basics. Okay. We need to know, at least in the lab, we need to know how to create an AD just for a practice purpose. If you doesn't understand, that's fine. Simply install and practice. That's it. Let's wait for a login. For first time login, it will apply a lot of security settings to the particular user. It may take for a while, but next time when it's rebooted or sometimes it will work like very fast because no user profile each and everything has to configure. So we need to wait. Change IP address because DNS IP address. Change a DNS IP address. DNS IP address. So here no DNS as of now. First change the IP address from one to, it will change it to default IP address 127.0.0.1. Change it to the back to the normal IP what we have earlier. Is it clear? What we have earlier we can change it to the, I will keep X so that no based upon your IP address you can change it whatever the IP address you are keeping to the AD server IP address. Okay, it's up to you. An example, I will keep 100 as we are doing with 100. Then we will do the changes to the DNS there. Go to the server. Still it's getting applied. Okay, it's taking a little bit time. So what we need to do, we can change the IP address, then comes to the DNS. After DNS we need to do configure the reverse lookup zone here. reverse lookup zone is not mandatory to do. Is it clear? Is it not mandatory to do? But if you want, you can do it. Then IP config slash register DNS we can do. So slash this is what you can do. These and all not mandatory. Okay, these three and all not mandatory. If you don't do it also, it will work. Is it clear? If you don't do it also, it will work. This is an optional. Optional is nothing but you do, doesn't do, it's up to you. Is it clear? So let's, okay, the OS is ready. See, that server is changed to Praveen slash administrator because that is only the one account which we have currently. Let me log in with the same password. First time login also, it will take a minute. Then the server manager will automatically opens for the first time. So what you need to do, you can minimize, you cannot cancel it, you can minimize it, so the backend it will work. Okay, if I open my server manager now, you can see the roles which are already installed on the left hand side. It will take some time to get it visible here. Okay, you need to give some time because the dashboard is still loading. Okay, if I go to add roles and futures next, I can see now what are the roles which is already installed on my server. See, AD is installed, DNS is automatically installed. Am I right or wrong? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Automatically it will install.
Yeah,
You can see
yes, yes.
also what are the roles which are installed on the left hand side. Okay. Now our task, basic task is completed. What next we need to do? AD role is installed. Okay. Change the IP address from to this. Go to the server, shortcut ncpa.cpl, double click, go to properties. Is it not getting internet? That's fine. Go to IPv4, double click. See, it's changed to 127.0.0.1. So what you need to do is come back here, change it to the same IP address 192.168.1.100, then OK, then OK. So our task is done. Change IP address is complete. What next? DNS. So turn off the firewall. It's better to domain firewall now. After before changing IP address, or that you can try to, because no, there is one more firewall is there, right? Or after installing, first you do turn off firewall or whatever you want, that's fine. Turn off the firewall, one more firewall will be there. See, change the membership, turn off. Okay, all are off. What next? Turn off the firewall, then change the go to the DNS and configure the reverse lookup zone. Go to the, go to start menu, go to Windows administrative tools, you will find DNS. You will find, where you will find, open start menu, administrative tool, DNS, or you can go to the run and type dnsmgmt.msc as a shortcut. Forward lookup zone is already configured. Forward lookup zone, you can see this is already configured. You have the name and IP address. So we'll keep the shortcut over here, dnsmgmt.msc. So whenever you refer the document, it will be easy. So reverse lookup zone is not configured. By default, whenever you install a role, forward lookup zone will auto configure. Reverse lookup zone will not configure. So right click, new zone, right click, new zone, next, 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 next. You need to give the first three digits of your IP address. First three digits of IP address, hit next, next, finish. So your lowest lookup zone will be configured, but you not got the IP address. What you need to do? Open command prompt as an administrator. Open command prompt or PowerShell or anything as an administrator. Run as administrator. Then you type. We have a command already. IP config slash register DNS. IP config slash register DNS. So refresh this icon now. IP address came 192.168.1.100. Sometimes it will not come because if you follow the order or if you because run off firewall, everything you need to do in an order. Sometimes if it not comes also, ignore it. That doesn't matter. You can continue the step. Do not stop at that there and you cannot be. Okay. ఎప్పుడైనా ఏదైనా ఇష్యూ వస్తే అక్కడతో ఆగిపోకుండా yes, move forward. It's not a big deal. Okay. ఇది without this also we can install an SCCM. But do not be at there if there are any issues. Leave it and go to the next topic. Is it clear? Register DNS. That's fine. So complete configuration is done. If you want to check thoroughly, here also you can check NS lookup. NS lookup. Then you will get the here you're receiving with the IPv6 address. If you ping AD, it's retrieving the IPv6 address. It's a IPv6, not a IPv4. If you want to turn off, you can better turn off the go to properties, uncheck the IPv6 option. What you need to do, uncheck this option because it is giving reply from your IPv6 address, not from IPv4. Let's disable the IPv6 address. Okay, okay. Now you try to ping your AD server. Still it's getting. What you need to do, IP config slash flush 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 DNS. Old IP addresses are will be deleted from the and still it's coming with the same IP address. Now let's try to NS lookup. See, now it's reaching to the IP. So you can type 192.168.1.100. That will resolve with the IP address. Now you can give your complete IP address, Praveen, ad.praveen.local. Still it's coming. It's as it local, it's fine. Okay. Anyway, it's resolving with the your NS lookup. Sorry, NS lookup. So your AD name and IP address are coming. That's fine. Then complete your AD configuration is ready as an Active Directory server is completed. Is it clear? The complete AD configuration is done. Is it clear? Any doubts?
Clear,
Yeah,
sir.
clear.
So other things are like we can create a GPO right away. Okay, because later we can do it later also. That's fine. But you will get confused later. So let's complete the GPO. But what is GPO? If you want to create multiple groups, or we will create later, that's not an important. Okay. So that is an activity of AD that will confuse again. We'll do it after installation of OS of SCCM and all. Till now, is it everything is clear? Till
Yeah,
now, is
clear.
it clear? So
Yes, sir.
basic configuration will do. So in the AD server, go to check in the RAM configuration. You will see by default, you will see some CPU utilization, memory utilization. You see, anti-malware is using the 70 MB of RAM, right or wrong? So what I will do is, it is using how much RAM it is utilizing? Out of 2 GB, 1.2 GB RAM is getting utilized for the things, right? Okay. If I want to disable, you can go to the start menu, search for the security or defender. You search for Windows Defender settings. Here down, you can go to the Windows security, or you can go to the start menu, go to the settings, go to updates and security, then you see Windows security. Here you go Windows threats. As it is a virtual test environment, as it's a test environment, I'm going to manage settings and disabling the protection because I want to save my RAM because it's a test lab. I want to reduce my RAM usage, so that I am disabling. So even that is one, that's fine, it's increase the, so it will reduce the amount of traffic which is utilizing for the RAM. So let me close, let me close all the things. Let me see what is the utilization now. At least anti-malware will take into the picture after a restart of the particular service, so it will come into the particular picture. Open services, that's fine. Let's reboot this machine and see after some time. So your utilization of your server will be reduced if you turn off the antivirus policy, but in production we cannot do like that. Okay, we want to minimize the usage because no, we need to use the resource very goodly, so that I am disabling the service, but you do not do it in production. As it's a test lab, you can do it, but not in the production. Is it clear what I'm saying to you? So if you have 8 GB of RAM, you can allocate like 1.5 to 2 GB of RAM, or you can reduce even to the to 1 GB, but it's something very slow will be there. But let's disable an antivirus and see what happens after a reboot. The base machine itself 2019, it will occupy more amount of RAM. So once it's done, let's restart. Let's log in and see what is the amount of RAM it's calculating, taking. Let me log in, Control Alt Insert. So let me go to the task manager. Initially, it will occupy good amount of CPU. Later, it will reduce. See, 100 MB is reduced compared to. But if you go to the processes and see the memory, still there is a service which is using anti-malware. But the backend services it will use, but not much extent. But it will reduce the main component. Okay, is it clear? But we cannot disable stop service. You cannot disable because no, it's a mandatory service from Microsoft. You cannot stop the service, but at least it will reduce some of the priorities of using the high amount of CPU. Okay, fine.